Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey.
Hello.
And the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, Del?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope you are all doing well on this wonderful Tuesday. It is Tuesday.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And before the stream, thank you, Snubberth. Seattle apparently overturned mayor's veto. Mayor's veto of what? Am I forgetting something? I mean, I know that there was a...
it's on the funding?
Oh, maybe. Well, yeah, maybe so. Or, well, it can't be because of the recall thing or something.
No, she can't overturn her own recall.
Okay, so did the city council, nix her nixing of the budget, and are the police now going to lose 600 officers?
I will look that up.
Okay. Our crack research team is on the case. And by crack, I mean he's smoking it. Now, thank you, tall person. Happy National White Chocolate Day, everybody. That's racist.
That's right. Ain't even real chocolate.
That's right. That's right. But thank you, tall person, regardless. So, yeah, it's Tuesday, and I have had a busy day, but I'll talk about me momentarily. Satsu, how are you?
Pretty good. I had a long day. It ended up much longer than I had planned because I decided to do something that I didn't plan. And now I'm exhausted, but good day either way.
Thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people in Lawton. Hello, Kyle. And Marcus Gallagher asks, Red Solo Cup?
Red Solo.
I was trying to think of some title, because usually what I do is I go for a quote or something referential to the subject of the thumbnail or the theme. And I looked up quotes from Force Awakens because it says something that I couldn't think of a one. I couldn't think of any significant motto, phrase, utterance, or anything from that movie. And all of them sucked or weren't interesting or were just dialogue lines. And I was like, okay. And so I was looking at the thumbnail and I was like, Ben Solo, red lightsaber, red Solo cup. I don't know. I didn't care. The thumbnail is more out of just I wonder if I can put people's faces on this. It's not out of a particular love for the subject matter, as I'm not a big fan of the sequel movies, but I'll certainly send them up with some Lords of the Night faces.
There you go.
But that aside, Monkey, how are you?
Oh, much better than yesterday. And thank you, everybody, for the kind wishes. And whew, boy, do I feel better. Looking at this thing, it's weird. It looks like it was... This is what... Regarding that veto, it was a precursor for a discussion over whether to overturn a mayoral veto on spending $86 million on city reserves. During vetoed the legislation, citing a need to be prudent given the ever-growing budget deficit. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. But how are you doing, Scribe?
I have had a busy day. I got up at the regular time early and did my work, and I was determined to do two things today, aside from the usual. Now, one was go get my flu shot, because I'm actually a week overdue from when I usually get it every year, and get a haircut. I haven't had a haircut in 2 months. And it was starting to drive me nuts. And I was like, I'm going to get a haircut. So I went to the barbershop's website and it said they open at 9 a.m. And I was like, I'm going to be there as soon as they open so I can get my haircut and I can come back home and get my other work done, because I can squeeze this all in. I can make a loop. I go to the haircut place, which is, it's not a long way away, but it is a bit of a stroll and over a freeway and that kind of thing. And then I can come back to my area and then go over to where the pharmacy is, which is on the opposite side of the freeway, get my flu shot, and then go home. I can make a big loop, basically. And so I'm like, okay. So about 9 o'clock hits, I'm like, okay, I'm out. And I walk all the way over to the barbershop. And they don't open till 10.
Oh.
Even though their website said 9. And I was like, okay. So okay, I'll just switch things around and I'll go do the flu shot now. Okay. So slowly 9 o'clock ekes into 9:30 as I get to the pharmacy, and I go up there and fill out the paperwork and get my flu shot. And I go back and like, okay, now I got to walk back to the barbershop. And so I walked all the way back to the barbershop. And they hadn't opened at 10.
But
there's a guy standing outside, a customer or a potential customer along with me, like they were late opening. I was like, okay. So I and this nice gentleman stand there for about another 10, 15 minutes, just looking like idiots until finally somebody shows up, opens up the place. Go in there, get my haircut. It's nice, it's fine, whatever. And walk all the way back home. So I did like 3 times the amount of walking and hiking all over the place this morning before I got everything done. And now my legs are really sore.
Mm.
And when I talked to my dad earlier, I said, boy, my legs are sore. He says, why is that? I said, because I've been kicking ass all day. You said, no, you haven't. Yeah, I know. But anyway, Shrouded Angel, thanks so much. Satsu is a figment of the American imagination. Yes, that's what I learned today.
Whoa.
I learned that Satsu is actually a fictional character made up by our collective consciousness that aren't black, because there aren't actually any black people. They're all just imaginary figures.
As much as I love Fig Newtons, that's real disrespectful.
Well,
you have an excellent imagination.
I know. I don't know what to tell you. That is what I was told today by a black activist. I'll tell you about it later at YouTube time. Dire Wolf, thanks so much. I am still very angry about what happened to Jake Gardner. There will be no justice, but he should never be forgotten. I'm going to sound like a jerk when I say, remind me who Jake Gardner is.
Is he the guy that just killed himself?
Yeah, that's right. That's the guy who defended himself, the vet with the brain, with the catastrophic brain damage or whatever, who defended his dad's store. That's right. Yeah, he kills himself because of stupid politics. He did everything he was supposed to do in that situation. He was not liable for anything other than self-defense, and then the DA succumbs to public pressure, indicts him on bullshit, and drives the guy straight into suicide.
Yeah.
Which works in the favor of the people who didn't like him, because they're like, well, why did he kill himself if he wasn't guilty?
Yeah. Corey Suzuki, thanks so much. You mean you didn't put, open the chat jumped. You didn't put Satsu's face over Finn's? What?
I don't know.
I
didn't see the thumbnail, so.
Well, I put your avatar over Finn's face.
Oh.
So I'm confused, Corey. Maybe I missed something. Obviously, I missed something. Piccolo, the Driving 8 Man, thank you so much for the 1-up hippo. Appreciate it. Yeah. Well then, all that being said, excuse me. Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button if you have not already, and many of you haven't. And please share our stuff. Share it far, wide, sideways, diagonally, 3-dimensional chess-wise, I suppose, because YouTube doesn't, and we appreciate it when you do.
Yes, we do.
With all that being said, let's get right into the snooze. No?
Nope.
No? Okay. With Romney's support, GOP likely has votes to move ahead with Ginsburg's replacement.
I could not believe that.
Man.
I saw some good arguments as to why, like overturning Roe is more important than whatever pettiness he has against Trump, or giving the long-term control of the Supreme Court to conservatives is more important than the pettiness over Trump. That kind of thing.
I saw the best reason of all today. He's a Republican. Duh.
Yeah, that too. I guess there's that technically.
That was the best. It was even the hashtag for a while. It was like, he's a Republican. Of course he did that. Why wouldn't he? But some people had to take his dick out of their mouth first before they could say it.
Let's see. Senator Mitt Romney, Republican of Utah, says he will support moving forward with President Trump's upcoming election year nomination to the Supreme Court. Romney issued a statement Tuesday that he intends, quote, to follow the Constitution and precedent in considering the president's nominee, unquote. If the nominee reaches the Senate floor, he intends, quote, to vote based upon their qualifications, unquote. Romney's support for moving ahead means the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is all but certain to have the 51 votes he needs to take up the nomination. Just 2 GOP senators, Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, have said they oppose taking up the president's nomination to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg before the election. Romney, the party's 2012 nominee for president, has been one of the few Republicans in the Senate to oppose Trump. In his statement, he asserted that the, quote, historical precedent, unquote, of election year nominations is that the Senate, quote, generally does not confirm an opposing party's nominee, but does confirm a nominee of its own, unquote. Democrats have charged that because the Senate refused to take up President Obama's nomination of Merrick Garland to fill a vacancy in 2016, GOP moves to take up Ginsburg's successor amounts to hypocrisy. It does, but it doesn't amount to a obstructive law or rule in the Senate.
Yeah, it was, the way people are talking about this has been very strange, because when people talk about people supporting this, they'll say something like, something along the lines that they're supporting something illegal, that they're helping criminals do things that they shouldn't be able to do. And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. They're just doing a thing that you don't like. Like, there's nothing illegal about it. Like, I'm confused.
Yeah, what the Republicans did in 2016 was petty and shitty and obstructionist and dumb, certainly. However, none of it amounts to a new rule that they must now adhere to. Nope. Which makes them hypocrites. Yes. And you can spend all the rest of your life criticizing them and their personal records and everything else. And that's perfectly fair game. But mechanically speaking, it means absolutely nothing. And yet somehow they think that, oh, well, because they were assholes before, they've got to be assholes now to themselves. Like, no. And the Democrats know that if the roles were reversed, they would have done the exact same thing. So give me a break.
Here's the thing. There's a consequence for losing, and this is what the Democrats faced in 2016, is what they're facing right now. Yeah. They have not held the Senate. Sorry. The Republicans, yes, absolutely hypocritical. Illegal? No, you're just wrong if you say that. Yeah.
And standing on hypocrisy as like a new rule, sorry, you're not gonna win that one.
Nope. Yeah.
So and again, all the Democrats complaining about the hypocrisy of the Republicans for what they did in 2016 should conversely be fine with this. Otherwise, what are you complaining about? I don't even know anymore. But
it's just interesting. I actually shut somebody up with that question online because they were just like, "Oh, but it was Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish." I'm like, "What if it was Kavanaugh's dying wish?"
Right.
And they were just like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got.
So anyway, moving on, because we'll see all the fireworks go off in the coming days. Trump is supposed to announce his nominee on Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, very soon.
And then I wouldn't be surprised if the process gets moving next week sometime. Maybe after the debate. I don't know. Remember, guys, next Tuesday is the first debate between the presidential nominees. And we'll be I plan on doing a early show, or starting early, so we can do a live commentary as the thing proceeds. So looking forward to that. Thank you, Mr. Scott J87. What do you call a hypocrite calling out a hypocrite?
Perception.
I think it cancels each other out, doesn't it? A politician, says Mr. Scott. Ha 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 ha. Thank you, Mr. Scott. All right, so I spotted this story just before the stream. I'm going to read it without comment. I'll be curious to know what occurs to you guys. 4 arrested after black man's body found burning in a ditch in Iowa.
Damn.
Authorities have arrested 3 men and 1 woman in connection with the death of a black man whose burning body was found in a ditch in rural Iowa. One of the men arrested was already in jail on an unrelated charges. Okay, CNN, on an unrelated charges, and is now facing charges of first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse, according to the Iowa Department of Public Safety. Quote, the investigation has revealed no evidence to show the acts against Michael Williams were motivated by his race, nor that his death was the result of a hate crime, unquote, according to a statement from the Department of Public Safety. Just after 5:30 p.m. last Wednesday, authorities received a report of a fire in a roadside ditch near the small city. The small city? Can you have a small city?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's on the small side of what makes it a city. And then you compare it to like New York. Yeah.
I guess the small city of Kellogg in central Iowa. Responding personnel found a body when they put out the flames. The dead man has been identified as 44-year-old Michael Williams of Grinnell, authorities said. Williams and the male suspect that was already in jail knew each other, authorities said. The statement says the investigation found that Williams was killed on or about September 12th in Grinnell. His body was then wrapped in cloth and plastic, secured with rope and tape, and taken to Kellogg on September 16th, where it was set ablaze, according to the statement. The other 3 suspects will face charges of abuse of a corpse, destruction of evidence, and accessory after the fact, according to the statement. It is unclear whether they have attorneys. So as I read that, I was like, there's one aspect here, given the current state of things, that I'm very curious is absent in the details. But I suppose go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, could it be the color of the suspects?
Well, given the fact that we're not going to charge anybody with any hate crimes here, I was like, oh, well, am I supposed to read into that something else since nobody else mentioned anything? But the funny, well, maybe not the funny thing was, down in the, later on in the article, Grinnell College canceled classes on Monday, quote, to recommit ourselves to equity and inclusion and to recognize the violent loss of one of our community. The national context has become local experience. The stark and brutal murder in the national context of racial injustice has struck intense fear for safety of our Black, Indigenous, and people of color colleagues, friends, and families. We live in a predominantly white community and work in a predominantly white college. The murder of Mr. Williams is an incident that is rare in the experience of most Iowans, but for many people of color, this incident is the most recent in an accumulated history of prejudice, mistreatment, and murder, the statement said.
Are we supposed to identify the problem with this one too?
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, I skimmed over this article earlier. I was kind of like, so they're going through great strides not to tell us, well, specifically to tell us this was not a hate crime, etc., which if I am forced to read between the lines, and it's CNN, so I have no other choice, it means that likely the suspect is not white, presumably. Mm-hmm. But then the college nearby is deciding to loop this crime into one of accumulated history of prejudice, mistreatment, and murder.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, opportunistic perhaps, incorrect perhaps, but who knows? I mean, so anyway, I found the whole dynamic of the article very telling, I guess.
I feel like the people who write these articles have that shit in mind. They're just like, yeah, you know what? This probably isn't a hate crime. The suspect is most likely Black or whatever. But if we don't mention that fact, we can start a bunch of shit. And a whole bunch of people will uprise. And even if they're wrong, like even if they did that whole thing and they found out they were wrong, they'd be like, still, this was the right call.
Yeah.
We still need to do this.
I mean, okay. If you wanted to like through the art of omission and obfuscation, spark more protests and or the tinderbox that is just about every community these days that has something like this happen. You just did it by like jumping through as many hoops as possible to not tell people that this wasn't like some kind of KKK initiation or something.
Right. So
Mr. Scott also says Kellogg is technically a village, not even close to a city. Scribe like, yeah, it's very odd, like a small city. Like I mean, I guess I don't usually see the word city qualified by the word small, but I don't know. Anyway, moving on, stepping backwards slightly to the.
Hey, Scribbles.
Yes.
Check our chat over on Twitter real quick.
I am checking the chat. And what am I looking for?
Breaking news.
Nothing's there.
What?
I can see.
Didn't that send that to all of us?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this? Oh, yeah, I saw this. I didn't think it was.
It's breaking news. That's all I'm saying.
All right. It's breaking news. Breaking news! Mike Pence gathers dinner for Thanksgiving.
Close enough.
Mike Pence's plane forced to return to New Hampshire airport after striking bird. Vice President Mike Pence's plane was forced to return to a New Hampshire airport on Tuesday night soon after takeoff because it struck a bird, the White House said. Pence's opponents on the left say it was an American bald eagle. I made up that last part.
I was like, wait a minute.
Pence was on his way back to Washington, D.C. after campaigning at an airport hangar in Guilford, New Hampshire. Earlier in the day, the vice president and others aboard the plane were in no danger after the bird strike, a senior administration official told the Associated Press. The White House said the plane returned to Manchester Boston Regional Airport out of caution. Breaking news, guys. Everybody's okay. The bird isn't.
Except the bird.
Yeah, the bird isn't.
The bird is definitively not okay.
The bird.
Oh my God! It was Big Bird. Mike Pence, you monster.
The bird was later found to be part of Antifa.
Yes. Back to other news. This is an opinion piece from CNN. Mitch McConnell is going to turn me into a socialist.
That story pissed me off.
Well, we're about to find out why, I suppose. This is written by Isaac Bailey. Isaac Bailey is a longtime journalist based in South Carolina and the Batten Professor for Communication Studies at Davidson College. He's the author of My Brother Moochie, Regaining Dignity in the Face of Crime, Poverty, and Racism in the American South. His next book, Why Didn't We Riot? A Black Man in Trump Land, will be released by Other Press on October 6th.
You have a super chat.
Yes, I see that. Thank you, Blind Press, for the hey you. Hey, Blind Press. How you doing? Let me see here. While I'm got you there. I need to have Blind on again for either Lords of the Night or find another TED Excellence to do with her, because it's been a while. We need to do another one of those. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is about to turn me into a socialist or whatever is necessary to save this nation's fast-fading democracy. If he and the Senate Republicans move forward with quickly replacing the recently deceased Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I would have lost all faith in what I believe this democratic experiment to be. In a healthy democracy, which we of course are, right? Republican senators would vow not to move forward with a vote on Ginsburg's replacement until early next year, or only accept a consensus pick who can garner bipartisan support. Hey, Isaac, there will be we talked about this. I mean, I floated the idea. What if Trump put up a moderate candidate, someone that no one could deny they would not let that pass, Isaac, because they cannot let anything that could be interpreted as a Trump win prior to the election. It wouldn't happen. So a consensus pick, a consensus in the Senate, Isaac, no.
Yes,
Thank you, Keldrake. I know they aren't, but those book titles sound like parodies of existing books. I know, right? They sound a little bit too on the nose, you know? And thank you, Officer Buck, another socialist, to making boatloads off of book sales, huh? Yeah. Go ahead, Satsu.
That person could have won like the best human being in the world award, you know, and had like an extensive record of just like spreading peace across the planet. But if Trump picked them, it would be over for them.
Yeah. Real quick.
Not to mention everybody involved in this was democratically elected.
Real quick. Thank you, Willett Forge. Willett Forge. In other news, the bird is now no longer the word. Yeah. Oh. He's just spackle on the windshield. Okay. Excuse me. Maybe a nominee like Merrick Garland, the man whom now retired Utah Senator Orrin Hatch told then President Barack Obama would easily win Senate confirmation until Obama actually nominated Garland. But this is not a healthy democracy. Yes, it is. There's nothing undemocratic about the current situation. Everybody in the Senate was democratically elected, both Democrat and Republican. The president was democratically elected. The Constitution says the president shall nominate new Supreme Court justices. He is still the president up until January, 28th or whatever next year at minimum.
20th.
So everything is currently operating as planned, Isaac. I'm sorry.
Their entire argument is Trump ain't being nice to the Democrats.
Well, Trump ain't being respectful to the dead or something, which has absolutely no basis in law or policy ever. So anyway, I've admired Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' focus on trying to level the economic playing field, but have never considered voting for him. I thought him to be too radical. I've long gotten New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's blue-collar appeal, but have vehemently disagreed with her on policies, believing some of them would be taking us too far to the left. Okay, and this is the straw that broke... Okay. I'm among the small minority of black voters who chose former President George W. Bush in 2000 and have voted for well-known Republicans such as South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. As much as I thought Obama earned a second term after guiding us through an economic calamity during his first... Oh boy, economic calamity. He sure guided us through by totally punishing the banks who screwed up and... Right. I would not have cried had Mitt Romney won in 2012. All right.
Can we pause there for just a second?
Sure.
Do you notice he doesn't tell us just outright that he voted for Obama twice?
Mm-hmm.
It's in there. I wouldn't have been upset if Romney won. Oh, then who did you vote for?
Yeah. I'm among the most pragmatic voters in the nation. What does that mean?
He's pragmatic. That's all it has to mean.
Pragmatic? Like,
I fucking don't know.
I don't know. One who's long craved the day that black voters would be courted by both parties the way we were up through the mid-20th century.
I wish both parties would treat black voters the way they treat white voters and just put out things that they think they'd like without it having to be black voters.
Yeah, just voters. How about just voters? Yeah, just people that vote. I mean, if you want to go by like class or something, or maybe educational background, fine, maybe sort of, but just how about just voters?
Yep.
Thank you, Chicago Mike. Trump is evil by going against RBG Dying Wish. Because the Dying Wish precedent is so historically what? The push and pull, the constant recentering of our politics is what I've long believed was our strength. Even when I did not get my way politically, then what do you have a problem with right now? I see no other way to hold fast to that truth without becoming as radical as McConnell. Mitch McConnell is a radical?
Yep.
What? Mitch McConnell is as radical as Chuck Schumer. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, insofar as their respective parties are concerned, Mitch McConnell is a wow. All right. As radical as McConnell and his cheerleaders have become. Well, I can't speak for his cheerleaders. I don't know what that means, but McConnell, a radical. Turtle Man, a radical. Okay. The Senate Majority Leader wasted almost no time in announcing that he would try to push through a new justice on the Supreme Court less than 2 months before an election. Hey, Isaac, read that sentence back to yourself again. Think about the conditions of the current election season. Think about the possibilities of this election. Think about what might happen if we have a broken Supreme Court during the results of this election. Can you imagine that for a second? You want to talk about a failure in the democratic experiment? How about having a broken third of our government at a time when we need them to decide such a thing should the worst happen? I'm done with this article. I'm just done with it.
Oh, dude, this one pissed me off.
I'm done. Dang it, I closed it beforehand. You can find it on CNN. I don't have the link in front of you. Somebody else can find the link and put it in the chat. I'd appreciate it. Let's move on to something more hilarious than that before we get on to the MSS news. Speaking of Seattle earlier, Seattle pays ex-pimp $150,000 to offer, quote, alternatives to policing.
Yep.
I really want this guy to do a TED Excellence. I really do. Seattle now has on its payroll a convicted pimp who once vowed to, quote, go to war, unquote, with the city, a $150,000 street czar whose mission is to come up with, quote, alternatives to policing, unquote, reports said. Andre Taylor, who appeared in the documentary American Pimp about his life as Gorgeous Dre, is getting $12,500 per month for a year, along with an office in Seattle's Municipal Tower, according to the contract published by Publicola. Publicola? I don't know. I thought I was about to say ProPublica for a second. That's not what it is. It comes just a year after his organization, Not This Time, was paid $100,000 to sponsor a speaker series that was called, quote, Conversations with the Streets, unquote. Taylor led one of the first rallies in Seattle after the police custody death of George Floyd, the Seattle Times said. He was later accused of trying to get millions from the city for militants who set up the controversial police-free Capitol Hill occupied protest. No. It'll always be the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Sorry, you can change it to CHOP or something, but it was the Autonomous Zone. Quote, don't just leave with something, he told activists in a meeting caught in a recording, telling them to demand $2 million to exit the site of much of the city's worst violence this year, the report said. They ignored his advice, the paper said, with one saying the money grab felt, quote, off, unquote. Wow. Yeah, destroying 6 blocks of a major American city, whatever, but money grab, that seems a bit off. Thank you for calling the Driving Ape Man. In order to stop a hoe, you got to clap a hoe. I guess so. I guess you pay him off so he doesn't pimp anymore or something. I don't know. Dark Resurrect, thanks so much. Howdy, Lawton and chat hooligans. I'm in the offices at work today, so I have good Wi-Fi. Yay, good Wi-Fi.
Cool.
He's going to bitch slap the police force, guys.
I guess. What exactly is he doing for this money again? Do they say in here? What alternatives is he offering? I'm curious to know. Like, what are his alternatives? No. Let's see. Taylor first found notoriety in Las Vegas, where he was sentenced in 2000 to more than 5 years in prison, serving little more than a year. Some of the girls he pimped for were underage, according to court reports.
I'm shocked.
Quote, I was born from the streets. I come out of the deep darkness, he said in a YouTube video earlier this year, bragging how he, quote, had children with some of the women who were with me when I was a pimp.
Awesome.
Boy, oh boy, can you fail upwards any harder than this?
Oh man, those are successes.
As street czar, his contract tasks him to, quote, provide recommendations to the city on de-escalation, community engagement, and alternatives to policing, unquote.
His answer is always, give him money.
Mayor Jenny Durkin's spokesperson, Kelsey Nyland, told the Seattle Times the contract was offered because of an, quote, existing working partnership, unquote.
With a pimp.
That's suspicious. Is Jenny Durkin in a previous partnership? Oh, no.
Ho.
Oh, no. Okay. Anyway, guys, that's all the story. Well, I mean, I had a couple others, but they can wait. Possibly things that'll show up on MSS News. So, guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all. That's because we can be long-winded. It's not just me now. After last night? Yeah, it's not after last night. It's not just me. There's proof. There's recorded proof.
What did I miss?
Nothing.
Yeah, you were there for part of it. Let's see. This one comes from Massive Dynamics. In a bit of irony, exclusive. Defund the police activist Alyssa Milano calls 911. Sparking massive police presence in her quiet California neighborhood, claiming an armed gunman was on her property, but it was really a teen shooting at squirrels with an air gun. Well, I mean, I can't hold her guilty if she sees someone stalking through her yard with what looks like a gun. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but what were the police going to do? They were just going to show up and kill him, according to her.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, they have bullet points underneath the story. Har, har, har. Actress Alyssa Milano called police when she believed an armed gunman was on her Bell Canyon property in California on Sunday morning. Okay, that's fair. At least 7 Ventura County Sheriff's vehicles, 1 canine unit, a police helicopter, and 1 Los Angeles Fire Department team sat down the street on standby. Jeez.
Good Lord.
White woman in trouble.
I know, right? Rich white woman in trouble. DailyMail.com obtained exclusive photos showing the first responders coming to the aid of the actress and activist who is pro-defunding the police. Quote, it turned out there was a neighborhood teen with an air gun shooting at squirrels, a resident told the Daily Mail. Alyssa and her husband, Dave Bugliari, were also concerned that it may be someone stalking the former Charmed and Who's the Boss star. Again, that's... If the only information they have is they saw somebody at distance with something that looked like a gun, which is what the kid had, I don't blame him. The 47-year-old lives in an 8,000 square foot, $2.5 million home in the upscale gated community that sits just 20 minutes north of Los Angeles. Wow. So, well, I'm glad that she's safe. I'm glad that the police were there to deal with whatever threat might have come her way. Okay. Let's see. This one comes from Chicago Mike. And it says, a man known as the Dreadhead Cowboy was arrested for riding his horse on a Chicago highway. Probably not the smartest move.
I saw a picture of that dude riding down the highway.
Drivers on a Chicago highway saw an unusual sight on Monday afternoon. A single cowboy riding alongside vehicles, slowing down traffic amid rush hour. The Dreadhead Cowboy, a local celebrity whose real name is Adam Hollingsworth, said he rode down the Dan Ryan Expressway in support of the hashtag Kids Lives Matter movement. Well, dude, you're putting yours and your horse's lives at risk by doing that. The initiative aims to raise awareness and motivates residents to fill out the U.S. Census to help communities receive better funding. That's a convoluted hashtag then. Quote, all I'ma say until we focus on kids' lives matter, this gon' keep happening, unquote. He wrote on Facebook ahead of the ride. I read it as it was written, guys. Hollingsworth was taken into custody by Illinois State Police. CNN has reached out to the state police for comment. The cowboy is a known activist in the Chicago community and has even worked with Mayor Lori Lightfoot to advocate for filling out the census. So she can tell more, neighborhood aldermen or whatever that they're full of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is one way to get attention. But again, riding a horse down a rush hour freeway is probably not a smart move.
The way to kill a horse.
And yourself. And possibly somebody else as well. All right. Let's see. This one comes from Frosted Glass. It's a Medium article, if you can believe it. And it reads, the Supreme Court threatens, not safeguards, our Constitution.
What?
In honor of Ginsburg's memory, it must be reformed.
What?
This week, Americans celebrated the 233rd anniversary of the signing of the United States Constitution. No, I didn't. I'm an American. You're wrong, Kevin Sabo.
You did, Scribe. You did.
I didn't even... Whatever. Then we mourned the loss of one of its strongest champions, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Well, depending on which side of the argument you're on, that's arguable, but okay. Students of American government are taught that the Supreme Court, where Ginsburg served for 27 years, is the guardian of the Constitution. Its interpretations of the centuries-old text are final. While laws and executive orders can be struck down, the only mechanism of overruling the nation's highest court is to amend the Constitution itself, a famously difficult process that has only happened 27 times in that 233-year period.
That's not true. The court can override itself, too.
Monkey, I'm reading Kevin's essay, not
Kevin's
yours.
An idiot.
Monkey, Kevin is smart.
Uh-huh.
Kevin is important.
Kevin is a dumbass.
Sorry?
Monkey beat me to it. We said Kevin is a dumbass almost at the same time, but he got there right before I did.
That or wait for a change in the court's composition to produce a reversal. Or they can overrule themselves from previous decisions, as has happened many times, Kevin. Oh, sorry. This is your essay. Unlike Congress and the presidency, the Supreme Court has historically commanded respect across the political spectrum.
No, it hasn't.
What now?
What? Unlike Congress and the presidency, the Supreme Court has historically commanded respect across the political spectrum. Yeah, there's never been any opposition or criticism of the Supreme Court from any side of the aisle, Kevin. You're right. They're immune from criticism. Once they have their say, nobody complains. Oh, Kevin.
Kevin, a dumbass.
That consensus, however, has eroded in recent years. How recent? Like the last 233? Oh, as ideological groups have begun to prioritize control of the courts. Yeah, no, the ideological groups trying to prioritize control of the courts. That hasn't been a thing for how long again? Oh, yeah, 233 years.
Notice they didn't specify which ideological groups.
Jesus.
Oh, my God. Oh, this is terrible. In light of this loss of confidence in the impartiality of our nation's courts, advocates have stepped up calls for reform. Yeah, that hasn't been also going on for 233 years. Several worthwhile ideas have been pitched from every corner, from the nation's leading legal experts to presidential candidates to former Supreme Court justices themselves. Thank you, Cryptic. Kevin is a dumbass. I don't know how to pronounce it with all those accent marks. Maybe doom, the dumbass. Sorry?
Dumas.
Dumas. On February 13th, 2016, Justice Antonin Scalia unexpectedly died, sending shockwaves across the nation. He wasn't that fat. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Liberals viewed this moment as an opportunity to finally reverse the court's right-wing tilt. Senate Republicans had other plans. For the first time in history, a Supreme Court nominee wasn't even granted a hearing. Was that the first time? I don't know. Was that the first time?
I have no idea.
To be honest, I have no clue.
Okay. The pain of the so-called stolen seat, eventually filled by Neil Gorsuch, a Donald Trump appointee, was made worse by the subsequent appointment of Brett Kavanaugh in light of credible allegations that Kavanaugh sexually assaulted Stanford psychologist. Yeah, credible allegations, which when put to the test, nobody else remembered. She couldn't remember, didn't make any sense, and there was no evidence. Okay, so anyway, let me cut to the chase here. He wants to expand the Supreme Court, add more seats, and add more justices.
And that'll fix everything.
Yes, but they only want to add the exact number that it takes for them to have the majority, and then stop there. And then when they lose the majority again, then they'll be like, "Oh, it's broken again. We got to fix it again, guys. Add more until we win."
Do you want to know? Do you want to guess what number of justices he's proposing?
15.
Okay, Satsu, you got to guess.
Enough until they win.
Well, come on, give me at least a number.
30.
Well, closest without going over was Monkey. 28.
Good God.
Yeah, 28 justices, he says.
That's a lot of mofo.
It's not unprecedented because Switzerland has 38 judges on its highest court.
Fuck them.
Switzerland now.
Dark Resurrect, thank you. Frosted corner now. Yeah. And thank you, Angry Nolisian. If it was credible against Brett, then Biden should be put in jail before election time.
Yep.
Are we going to hear from Tara Reid again at any point? Yeah, I don't think so.
Only if Trump invites her to the debate.
Oh, that would be funny, wouldn't it? Let's see. This one comes from Keeverdam. Bloomberg raises $16 million to help ex-felons in Florida vote. Sounds a bit inflammatory of a headline. Let's see. Former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg and his political operation have raised more than $16 million from supporters and foundations. Why? He's a billionaire.
He ain't spending his money.
Why doesn't he just pay for it?
Why would he do that?
Because What's he going to do with all that money? He's old.
Bloomberg shit.
All right. I've raised more than $60 million from supporters and foundations over the last week to pay the court fines and fees for over 30,000 Black and Latino voters in Florida with felonies, allowing them to vote in the upcoming election. Oh, okay, so this goes back to the whole rule in Florida that your sentence isn't completed until you've paid off all of your fines and fees and things.
Oh, so he went in and paid off everybody's shit?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's some gangsta ass shit right there.
The fundraising effort, according to multiple Bloomberg aides, will benefit the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition, an organization run by formerly incarcerated people who are working to make it easier for ex-felons to vote. No, you're making it easier for ex-felons of specific skin colors to vote, apparently.
Yeah.
So this racist initiative of yours, you're not saying that, but you're saying that, or at least the story's saying that. Quote, the right to vote is fundamental to our democracy, and no American, except white felons apparently, should be denied that right, Bloomberg said. Working together with the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition, we are determined to end disenfranchisement. Are you? Because you seem to be disenfranchising a whole swath of people in Florida all of a sudden. And the discrimination that has always driven it, unquote. Tell me again where this money is going and to whom on what conditions? Bloomberg? Okay.
That discrimination is not supposed to matter.
I guess. Thank you, Cryptic. LeBron James paying only Democrat ex-felons. I heard something about LeBron James was paying something for somebody, or he's like he's paying off somebody's, like, I don't know, bail or something. I don't know what it was.
I hadn't heard, but I'm not shocked.
Because there was a sheriff or something that was saying LeBron James should pay for, I forget what it was. I'm suddenly blanking. I just remember seeing the story, and it was in response to something he was doing or had said he would do. I'm not quite sure. Okay, well, it's a non-story now because I don't even know what I'm talking about. Let's see. This one comes from All You Need. What does All You Need have to say? Blind teen swims for gold with a guide dog helping her prepare for Tokyo Paralympic Games. That's cool. Paralympian Anastasia Pagonis. Her remarkable success story began when she lost her vision at age 14. Ugh. Granted, it's a tough age for any teen, but dealing with a life-changing disability made things even more challenging. Quote, it took me about 8 months to kind of regroup myself, she said, and then I got it in my head, okay, I'm blind, now what am I going to do with my life? A Long Island native, Pagonis practically grew up in the water. She'd taken up competitive freestyle swimming just a few months prior to going totally blind. While she excelled at the sport, even with limited vision, and, quote, abusive team, unquote, atmosphere prompted her to quit the competition. Do they say how she lost her sight? They don't say, or at least not yet. Losing her sight so close on the heels of giving up the pastime she loved took a heavy emotional toll. After months of therapy, the tenacious teen was ready to get back in the swim. Only swimming wasn't enough for Pagonis. She wanted to compete. Now she was faced with another dilemma. Quote, nobody wanted to train the blind girl, she recalled in an interview with Team USA. I ended up after about 8 months finding an amazing coach who was willing to train me and actually put on blackout goggles to try and figure out a way for me to swim, unquote. By the age of 16, Pagonis was earning a reputation as a fierce competitor, taking 2 gold medals at the World Para Swimming World Series in Australia. Even with her newfound sense of accomplishment, Pagonis was reticent at first to tap into social media. When Pagonis realized her experiences and positive outlook might be a boon to others, however, she eagerly donned the mantle of role model. Quote, I want to help people the way that I needed help, Pagonis told Team USA. Quote, I started doing Instagram and social media and was soon getting a bunch of direct messages and replies saying, wow, you really helped me get through little things, or I was getting bullied in school and you helped me get through that, or you let me know how much I was worth, unquote. This goes on for quite a while, but very inspiring story. Good for her. I'll put the link in the chat if you want to read it for yourself. A nice story, for once. Let's see. Did I already do one from... I thought I had... No, maybe not. Okay. This one comes from Check Your Logic. Excuse me. The underground golden age is over. Epic dark web opioid bust sees 179 arrests and $6.5 million seized. It was It was one of the biggest ever busts of dark web enterprise. Global police agencies announced Tuesday that they had arrested 179 vendors and buyers of illegal drugs in Europe and the U.S. Also scooped up in raids were over $6.5 million in both cash and virtual currencies, and 1,100 pounds of drugs, including dangerous opioids like fentanyl and oxycodone, as well as heroin, cocaine, ecstasy, and MDMA. A total of 64 firearms were also seized. It's been dubbed Disruptor, Tor being the heavily encrypted and obfuscated network that hosts much of the so-called dark web. Disruptor. How clever. The majority of the arrests were in the U.S., surprise, surprise, where 121 were apprehended, while 42 were in Germany, 8 in the Netherlands, 4 in the U.K., 3 in Austria, 1 in Sweden, and a partridge in a pear tree. I added that last part.
No, I figured.
In announcing the operation, Europol claimed the, quote, golden age of the dark web marketplace is over, unquote. They'll switch servers and be up and running again in about 10 days.
Right.
They're fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. The Wild West remains wild. There are contingencies, I'm sure. Moving on. Let's see. Oh, I saw this one. This is funny. This is a funny story. This comes from Peter Stewart. Welsh village figures out why it was losing broadband service at the same time every day for 18 months.
Damn.
For 18 months, residents of a village in Wales have been mystified as to why their broadband internet crashed every morning. Now engineers have finally identified the reason: a second-hand television that emitted a signal that interfered with the connection. A crack team of engineers turned detectives have become heroes in the village of Aberhosen after finally finding the source of the problem. Staff had visited the village repeatedly and found no fault with the network. They even replaced cables in the area to try and solve the problem, but to no avail. Then local engineer Michael Jones called in assistance from experts at the OpenReach Chief Engineering Team. After carrying out a plethora of tests, engineers had a theory that the problem could be caused by a phenomenon called single high-level impulse noise, or SHINE, in which an appliance emits electrical interference that impacts broadband connectivity. Engineers used a device called a spectrum analyzer and walked up and down the village, quote, in the torrential rain, unquote, at 6 a.m. to see if they could locate an electrical noise. Jones said, at 7 a.m., like clockwork, the device, quote, picked up a large burst of electrical interference in the village. The source of the electrical noise was traced to a property in the village. It turned out that at 7 a.m. every morning, the occupant would switch on their old TV, which would in turn knock out broadband for the entire village.
Nice.
Jones says the resident was mortified by the news and immediately agreed to switch it off and not use it again. Well, now here's the thing. If you want to find out how to shut down the internet in that town, you just need to find out what frequency that TV was operating at.
There you go.
It's the littlest thing. Screw everything up. All right. Let's see. We'll do one more here. Actually, we'll do two more. I got one I want to do myself, but I'll do one more here from Shrouded Angel.
Hey, Scribbles, can I get a donation here real quick?
How much do you need?
Couple hundred.
Okay. Go ahead.
I believe this one is from right now. Yes. Evolved Potato, thank you. How's in Bloodwing basically buying votes? This seems like a simple thing. Oh, Bloomberg, basically.
Bloodwing.
Like Bloodwing, what the hell did he do?
Is Bloodwing running for office? What?
Bloodwing's been in my chat of my game streams recently, so I was thinking him. How isn't Bloomberg basically buying votes? This seems like a simple thing. Because he's not telling him how to vote.
Technically.
Technicalities are the law, my friend.
Yep. Let's see. So, Shrouded Angel. Tinder fraudster jailed after conning dates out of £450,000 in fake blueberry farm scam.
What?
That is some convoluted... Okay. A Tinder fraudster who swindled about £450,000 from her dates to fund her gambling addiction has been jailed. Jocelyn Zakour, or Zakour, depending on how I pronounce it, who lived at Crown Casino in Melbourne, okay, convinced her dates to loan her huge sums for a fake blueberry farm using both blackmail and extortion tactics. The VIP gambler, aged 41, well, she looks pretty good for 41, burst into tears at Victoria's County Court as she was jailed for 4.5 years with a non-parole period of 2 years and 8 months. She has so far reportedly paid back a tenth of the money taken. Zachauer's first victim was promised a 300% profit before initially agreeing to hand over $723,700.
Wow.
That's more than 450,000 pounds, unless the exchange rate is completely wonky, I guess. And in order to take more money, she claimed the farm was tied to illegal cigarettes and she would harm his family if he didn't pay her more.
Wow.
The guy that did this is an idiot. Okay, the defendant sent her first victim 240 emails threatening his ex-wife, kids, and mom before the man began borrowing money in order to keep up with payments. Zachauer accused him of being foolish to have fallen for her lies when she was eventually caught. Well, he was, but that's beside the point.
Dude, that is about enough money to pay to get rid of her ass.
Yeah,
that's well more than anything I've seen on like murder porn sites.
All right, I'll do this last one here since nobody else brought it up. Instagram model who poses as Catwoman jailed for masked robberies.
Wow.
I'm going to put the link to this in the chat because, why are you robbing places? Get an OnlyFans. Look at you. Holy cow. An Australian Instagram model with sticky fingers and a penchant for posing as Catwoman has been jailed after being arrested for the second time this year for a series of crimes, including masked robberies and shoplifting. Monique Agostino, 25, was warned by Magistrate Jacqueline Millage last year that her life was, quote, going down the toilet, unquote, leading Agostino to make a veiled threat that if she harmed herself in the slammer, it would be the judge's fault. She told Millage that she had, quote, anxiety and depression behind bars. That's the point. But the judge told her that she could not keep blaming others for her bad decisions. The former modeling entrepreneur, real estate agent, and social media influencer began her life of crime about 2 years ago when she drove several teenagers to commit burglaries in Sydney, according to news.com.au. Holy cow. Thank you, Gamer Valine. What? Lawful? What's lawful?
I don't know. I think the FL is Florida. I don't know what the AL or the LA is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the LA, but Florida can allow felons to vote on state elections. It will not change the federal. Good to see Democrats still don't care about federal law. I was driving. Maybe it's Florida law. That's what it was. Yeah, but I thought this. Yeah, but wasn't it all their. If all their fines weren't paid, then their sentence wasn't technically completed, even if they had already served their time in jail, and therefore their federal voting rights were still restricted? Was that it?
I'm not exactly sure how it all was working.
Yeah, I meant Florida iOS 14 needs to learn. Okay, just making sure. Oh, thank you. You didn't have to put another donation, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I think it was I think it was their ability to vote in the presidential election is what he's paying for effectively. And he's not trying to buy any goodwill towards one particular side of the aisle or anything, of course. Anyway, for the Catwoman here, lady, seriously, get an OnlyFans. It might be too late now. You're probably going to jail, but she just maximum of 12 months with a 6-month non-parole period. Okay, so you got at least 6 months in the slammer. After that, do an OnlyFans. You'll make tons. You'll be fine. You don't need to steal. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. Thank you guys so much for all the stories. Appreciate it. We're going to move on to the wonderful world of YouTube time. And Satsu, what have you been up to today?
Well, my plan was to stream a little Medieval Dynasty today because that game is fucking awesome. I've been having some fun playing that. But I ended up doing a cooking video instead, something that I've been planning on making for some time now, but they hadn't got around to. But I recorded that video today, so that'll be going up probably in a few weeks. Let's see, what else did I do today? I think that's pretty much it. Like, Monkey, are you filling up the streaming tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, tonight after this, we'll be playing some Raft. Going back there to see what we missed, because apparently there's a ton of stuff in that game that we still have not explored or seen yet. So we'll be working on that tonight. Otherwise, that's kind of all I've been up to.
All right, Monkey, what'd you do today?
Let's see. I did do a Monkey in the morning earlier, and I've streamed Medieval Dynasty twice since we last spoke. Once before I went and got my medicine, and then once after I woke up, just before we did this stream here. So lots of stuff to go see.
All right. As for myself, I did a very impromptu TED Excellence today. I usually don't do 2 streams on the same day, but this 5-minute long TED Excellence, or sorry, I should say TEDx, I turned it into a TED Excellence, popped up today. And the title alone, as with so many others, was so bizarre. I just had to do something about it right then. I was too curious to wait a day or do a TEDx on a regular day that was only 5 minutes long. So I thought I'd do a brief interlude. And the title was "Toy Story is a Slave Narrative. Let me explain." That's the full title. And I was like, okay, let me think about this for a second before I start the video. The toys are kept in a room and or a toy box, depending on how you look at it. They are effectively captive. They're effectively there to do one thing, and that is to entertain their owner, who would be Andy, who I guess represents the slave owner, and the bedroom is the plantation. Like, I mean, I could turn a whole lot of different stories into slave narratives if I tried hard enough, but I was curious to know what this gentleman's argument was. And he had 3 points that in no way required Toy Story as an example. This is the weird thing about this talk. He never actually made a full argument that Toy Story was a slave narrative. He just kind of danced with it a little bit. But his 3 points were, number 1, African Americans are invisible in American society.
What?
Oh, sorry, no, not that they're invisible. They're that was part of it, but they are figments of the imagination of American society. And I was like, African Americans are figments of American society's imagination, just like the toys are, except the toys aren't figments of the imagination. And in the world of Toy Story, even their personalities and sentience is not a figment of imagination. That's just what they are. But okay. Secondly, African Americans don't reveal their true identity. Just like the toys apparently.
Like Batman?
How that was explained, if it was explained, I have no idea. And lastly, under severe oppression, we only show our worst selves. And then he segued that into a defense of civil unrest by showing a picture of a liquor store on fire with a quote from Dr. King superimposed over it. I mean, this was like the most poorly thought out book report from high school you could think of. And this was, I mean, it was a TEDx, not a TED talk. So like I say, the bar is relatively low. It only went on 5 minutes, and he ended with recommending to the audience that they watch the 70s movie The Toy, starring Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason, as an example of this concept. And then it just cut off. I mean, some people thought that I cut off the video early or something. That was it. That was all that they posted. And I was like, hey, if you had brought up The Toy as your example of a slave narrative in a movie, that would have been way clearer. because it's literally a movie about a rich man who buys a down on his luck guy to be his son's entertainment. It's literally a slave movie, more or less. You could actually do that. The problem is you probably have to explain how that movie would never be made today because of its obvious like connotations. And then you'd have to admit that things have changed over time and that it's, but anyway, it was the most bizarre, like disjointed argument presentation. It wasn't Chromosome Lady crazy. You know, I could kind of see what he was trying to get at. He just didn't make the connections at all very well, but it was just weird. Yeah, so that was the TED Excellence Day, the mini TED Excellence. I have another one planned for tomorrow, full on. But yeah, that was my excitement for today. Also, I finished the finishing touches on tonight's theme, which is the one that was not voted on last time, sci-fi or vampires. This is the sci-fi. And the other thing I wanted to do here real quick, let me do this. So Jack Gunsky put up a little poll on his Twitter today, asking for advice onto how better to advertise his show and his channel and everything. And I aside from his appearances on here, I don't know what else he does to advertise, but he seemed to be implying that all he does to advertise is mention his show on the nights that I stream. And I thought that was like a little limiting. So I advise that he put the link to his YouTube channel and the schedule of his show on his Twitter account, because that is a very convenient place for people to find that information. But the other thing I noticed going to his channel, do you remember what's the threshold for being able to post your own thumbnails to videos? Is it 1,000 subscribers?
I don't know, because it's changed since I got it.
Okay. Well, so chat, I don't know if you might humor me and help out Jack Gunsky, but I put the link to Jack's YouTube channel there. I don't know if we can get him to the threshold to put on his own thumbnails, but I think being able to put your own thumbnails on your videos and advertise them that way is a very helpful thing for branding a channel and helping it out. So if you happen to have a moment, and if you decide that it'd be a good idea, link to Jack Gunsky's channels in the chat there. If you go over there and consider at least subscribing to help a guy out and start pushing him towards a level where he can have some more options for his channel, it'd be nice for him, I suppose. Up to you. Other than that, that's all I got for YouTube time. So let us move on to the wonderful world of fucketry. I don't think I have much, so I'll go first. NPR posted this today. As Black Lives Matter protests spread across the U.S., more white people have joined in to help. In many cities, black leaders are being deliberate about the roles white allies play. Quote, quote, it's our turn to lead our own fight, to frame our own conversations, unquote. And I said, joined in to help? Have you looked at the makeup of the majority of the protests over the last 6 months? Like only now they've suddenly showed up or something?
Yeah.
Like NPR, what world are you living in? That's so bizarre. Secondly, this isn't so much a fucketry, but you may not know the name, but you probably know the face and or the voice. Michael Hogan is an actor. He played Saul Teague on Battlestar Galactica, but maybe more well known to some of us gamer nerds. He was the voice of Doc Mitchell in Fallout New Vegas. There's a GoFundMe up because apparently back in February he suffered a very serious fall and serious injuries resulted, and there's a GoFundMe going to help with his medical bills because apparently the extent of these injuries is been very taxing on his family. So on the off chance you have a minute or three, go take a look at that. And otherwise, I think that's about everything I had for today. I talked about Catwoman, which I thought was funny. Oh, CNN, one last thing. CNN and so many other outlets are blaring this like it's some huge piece of news. Joe Biden says Cindy McCain will endorse him. And like CNN had a major blow to the Trump campaign. And I'm like, who in their right mind would have expected Cindy McCain to endorse Trump in the first place?
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
That was never going to happen. This isn't a major blow to who? To Trump? What are you talking about? What Trump said about McCain? Do you think his family's ever going to have anything to do with him? No. Why are you guys talking about this like it's some huge Jenga piece that just got yanked out of Trump's chances?
And nobody gives a shit what Cindy McCain says.
Yeah, she's. I mean, I'm sure she's a nice lady, but she's got nothing to do with nothing. I'm just floored by the amount of attention this has been given by, maybe not by CNN, but The Hill had this as a big deal, and other places. I'm like, really? Like, okay, she's given her support to Joe Biden, and nothing changed. But yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. Satsu, what do you got?
Yeah, I saw that too, and I don't even know. Like, I knew she was a McCain. I'm just like, what? Why would she vote for him? I thought that was like the same reaction that a lot of games journalists have when like one random person who's never played a game in this particular series comes out with a scathing criticism of it, and they're just like, oh, this game's in trouble. Fucking Cindy from Louisiana said she won't buy it. It's like, who gives a fuck? What the fuck? Nobody cares. You mean that random bitch who's never played the game? Oh no. The game's in trouble, guys. Like,
real quick, thank you, Gamer Valine. No threshold. I post my own with all 85 subs. Really? Because okay, obviously it's changed, or maybe it's changed. Because I remember back in the early days, I was restricted from actually creating my own thumbnails until I don't even remember what the subscriber threshold was. There was some threshold I had to hit before I was allowed to post my own thumbnails. So if that's not the case, if you're already then Jack, I advise you to use that option if you haven't.
activate it.
You have to. I don't. It's been so long. I honestly don't remember, but I thought so. Anyway, but regardless, sorry, Satsu.
A fucketry. Well, this first one might need to be seen. Somebody got creative with the blue marker. If you want to share this, Scribbles.
Oh, okay. What? Oh God.
Well,
I'm just like, wow, that took some time.
That's very creative. That's very creative.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. Well, I will give you points for that one. Like, what can you say? I slow clapped. That baby.
Hi, Squishy.
hi, Squish.
What? Oh, okay. She was like hovering, so I was trying to see what was going on because I don't be knowing. Like sometimes she be wanting stuff, and sometimes she don't. So I have to like check. Like, let's see. I'm just saying, you be doing it. All right, other fucketry. Let's see here. Go back over to my Facebook page. What did I see today? Oh, there was a chart to explain how the replaced Supreme Court justice decisions are made based on whether or not you are a Republican or a Democrat. And I thought it was very helpful because a lot of people seem to be confused as to how this works. So the way it works is if you're a Democrat and your party is in the White House, then you replace whoever. I mean, you replace the seat. If you're a Republican and your party is indeed in the White House, then you replace the seat. If you are either and the answer is no, then you wait until after the election. Like, these are the decisions that each party, designated party, would make under all possible conditions. And there's no way around it. Like there's no way if the Democrats were in the Republicans' position right now, there is no fucking way in hell that they would not take this opportunity to fill that seat. There's no way. And it's some people are like, no, because the Democrats are decent people. They would wait. Like, no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't wait because that would be completely fucking asinine. They have no. I'm like, first off, if the situation was the same, they had a Democratic president in the office right now, and Biden was the one running. They have zero confidence in Biden and his ability to do anything really other than stand and read. Like, no way. They would absolutely try to fill that seat. So it's nice to play pretend, but yeah.
Well, I saw a post, if you don't mind me jumping in there since it's related. This guy said, it's nice thinking to put out a compromise judge or something like that. He goes, but then I think back, I mean, this is the party that gave us Borking and gave us what happened with Kavanaugh. So the idea that they wouldn't be just as partisan is nonsense.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely ridiculous. But they're in a position where they can say we absolutely would have, because there's no way to actually make that
tested.
Yeah. So another post that I saw that was kind of funny. It says this old lady was in the washroom when I was in there, and she looked at me and said, "I remember when my girlfriends and I would dress up and go out. I really miss that." So I said, "Why miss it? We're all out, aren't we? Why don't you hang out with us?" Long story short, she died of a coke overdose.
Wow.
Bro. I'm like, okay, well, cool story, bro. I saw another pretty funny post today that says, it's this dude texting this girl. Yeah, I think you guys seen that meme. It's like both of them are laying in the bed. The one dude texts the girl or whatever, and she responds. And it's like, he was like, "I just got fired." She was like, "And dumped. Wow, you're having a bad week." And I'm just like, God, no fucking chill at all. Let's see here. Was there anything on Twitter? I don't think I was on Twitter like 5 minutes today. Yeah, I might not have any Twitter fucketry. I was just talking shit on Twitter. Yep, no Twitter fucketry. Just talking shit over there. So that be my fucketry.
All right, Monkey, what do you got?
Mine is probably going to be just as short as yours, Scribbles, because I wasn't over here much. Nancy Pelosi today said that Trump wants to use politics to determine how we fight the virus. And she said it was sinful.
Oh, no.
Sinful. It reminded me of something. I was reading Razor Fist, and he's telling people right now, I'm all for voting to fill this seat. He goes, but don't go after it in a way where you're looking for just a far righty ideologue.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you get into the opposite problem of what gave us Roe v. Wade. And you have this Amy Barrett chick who's a devout Catholic, and that's fine. There's nothing to say she's absolutely going to throw that into her decision making. But I'm starting to hear sin a little too much for me to be comfortable with it. That shouldn't be anything that determines our legal process or how we're running the country.
Yeah.
If you want to use that as a basis for why you believe other things, you're still going to need to tell me why those other things are good or bad without your religious dogma. Because no. Sinful. Bitch said sinful. Maybe the liberals are going after the religious right. There's the Romney thing. This one was funny. This chick named Alyssa Azar. She was out there in Portland, and she's a full-on go protesters. And she was at some bonfire they were having for some stupid thing. And then protesters, the actual protesters started showing up, and she's like, these guys are cool. They even had bumper stickers that glow in the dark, you guys. And then a post pops up that says, this racism stuff needs to go. And then you have this post. So, an Asian journalist got mistaken as Andy No, yelled at and asked to leave. Later, a young woman who was sexually assaulted was told to shut the fuck up, take it elsewhere, and other misogynistic slurs. It was pretty bad. I will personally be no longer returning. Oh, you actually finally paid attention when you were there to what's been going on at these shithole riots. You want to know how racist these things are? Go ask a black cop who works those lines. Ask him how many times N-bombs have been dropped at them. It's probably more than you think. It's like, just pay attention for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Just look around. Like, instead of going and putting on the t-shirt and just kind of following the crowd and doing what everybody tells you to do, just observe. Pay attention.
Yeah. It's not that hard. Look, even if you go, hey, there's too much police violence, fine. I can understand that. But the rioting in the street shit, pay attention to the people who are actually doing it, because most of them are shitbags. Finally, this one was just the way it was worded by CNN. Initial early response in China were critical in preventing the spread of coronavirus in Taiwan, potentially saving thousands of lives.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Everyday life there is now very different from a lot of places worldwide where leaders weren't quick to act.
Yeah.
Now, if you read the story, what it actually says is Taiwan paying attention to what was going on in China when China was still lying about what they knew, still denying what was going on. The story tells us that the people in Taiwan got word of what was happening, and they're like, this sounds a lot like SARS, which killed a bunch of us. Close everything down, which is what they did. But the response of China. No. It was the response of Taiwan, you assholes. And that's all I got.
All right. Well, we got a couple of minutes here. You know what that means.
Squeedus time.
Is there a Squeedus?
No, she's sleeping, but I am looking at a very cute video of her right now.
How dare you tease Squeedus time?
Okay, all right, hold
You
on.
jerk. No, it's fine. It's fine.
She sleeps, so I'll
No, don't go wake her. I wasn't saying that.
Never wake a sleeping babe. What are you doing?
Okay, well now that's acceptable. Oh, look at that mean face.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Yeah, squishy. Here we go. This is the other one right here.
Oh. Aw, hello.
Aw.
Hello.
She's so happy.
Aw, look at her.
She's so cute. All right.
Yes, she is. All right. Thank you, Satsu. All right. Well, we are going to do a Mad Lib.
Hi.
See. This is a lot of words. Oh boy. Okay, this will take up plenty of time. All right, let's see. So what do I need from the chat? Okay, so I can ask 3 things from the chat and cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. All right, chat. This is what I need from you. I need a part of the body, a plural article of clothing, and a plural noun. All right, so a part of the body, a plural article of clothing, and a plural noun. So have those ready. Please post them into the chat, tagged with what you're tagging for, so I can see them as we go. But we'll start because we've got a lot of these. So the first couple are all adjectives, guys. So Satsu, I need an adjective.
How about drenched?
Drenched. All right. Monkey, an adjective.
Stanky.
Stanky. All right, Satsu, I need an adjective.
Loose.
Okay, I see where that's going. Monkey, I need an adverb.
Oh, how about? I'm trying to think of how to say sluttily, but that doesn't sound like a real word.
Horse.
Horsely. There you go. Yes.
See, I have a little bit of vocabulary in me. Let's see. Satsu, I need an adverb as well.
But disgustingly.
Disgusting seems to be one of your favorite words, too.
Yeah, because I'm generally disgusted with the world as a whole.
Monkey, I need a female first name.
Nuts.
Got it. And Satsu, I need a last name of a person, or just a last name.
Butts.
Monkey, I need a male first name.
Harry.
No. Obadiah.
Obadiah. Wow. All right.
That's what I call Badger.
Oh, okay. Satsu, I need a noun. It's going to be nouns all the way down for a few guys, so get your nouns ready. Actually, the rest of your part in this is going to be nouns, so go ahead. Noun, Satsu.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, all right. Monkey, a noun.
Kentucky.
Satsu, a noun.
How about a switchblade?
Monkey, a noun.
Extra long dildo.
Extra long time. And lastly, Satsu, a noun.
Broken condom.
All right. And now on to chat. Let's see. Part of a body. So I got two words here, actually. It says part of a body and then part of a body, plural. So I'll take two different suggestions and make one plural. Attack Alpaca says pinky nail. Okay. Wow. That's very specific. Another part of the body. Let's see. I got to scroll up a bit. Okay. Nope, that's not where it started. And then chat jumped. Sorry, guys. Apologies. Stargazer says big toe. So I'll say big toes. All right. Article of clothing. Plural article of clothing. Darkalel says cummerbunds. There you go. You don't hear that very often. Cummerbunds.
Not since prom.
And then nouns. Noun. Where are all the nouns? Cannibalistic Wither says IED. Oh, God. All right. I guess that is a noun. And then one more noun. Chicago Mike golf tees. All right. Sure. Why not? And here we go, guys. This one is called TV promos. Newspaper critics agree that Obadiah and Nuts is a comedy Chick-fil-A that will knock your cummerbunds off.
Okay.
It will tickle your pinky nail. The Washington, Kentucky. Two big toes up. Ebert and Butts. A smart, drenched, and stanky comedy. You do not only laugh, it brings the IED to your eyes.
Damn.
God.
Says the New York Times Switchblade. A whorishly funny half-hour extra-long dildo disgustingly acted by a loose cast of all-star golf tees.
Wow.
The Chicago Sun broken condom. That last one was perfect.
The last one was great.
That last one was perfect.
Scribe spitting them bars.
I sometimes amaze even myself that I'm able to rattle off some of this stuff without breaking completely. Not always, but sometimes.
Shit, that is comedy right there.
All right. Well, with that, guys, thank you so much. Let's see. I should try to remember to post these sometimes. I keep forgetting to. But with that, thank you, Dark Resurrect. IEDs to my eyes. Is it filmed in Afghanistan? Sure, why not? But with that, guys, we're going to move on to the wonderful world of chat time. It's your time. If you have questions, comments, complaints, conspiracy theories, if you have predictions as to, I don't know, what'll happen with the election. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Put them in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after those so we know it's for us. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, sucks to be you. NBC, how many bunnies could you realistically eat if you had a gun to your head as long as Monkey doesn't have to catch them?
That's mean.
I'm missing context.
Okay, so you have to hunt in this game, and I was hunting bunny rabbits, and I am not good at hunting bunny. I'm not good at hunting anything in Medieval Dynasty, but bunny rabbits just made me look stupid. It was like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. It really was.
Mata Winter, oh lords, would y'all try a pork cutlet garnished with a frozen gravy rose? A side of apple slices cut to look like bunnies, and a rose crystal mug of pink lemonade.
Sure, I'll try it.
The frozen gravy rose.
Weird.
I mean, I'm hoping the pork cutlet was hot enough to melt that pretty quick, because that sounds kind of odd. Let's see. Prospero, which Star Wars movie were those reviews about? Ha 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 ha.
The last one.
Keeverdam, Scribe Light, do you know that last night you confused Catherine O'Hara with Maureen O'Hara? Oh,
did you know?
Maybe I did. I thought that could be true. If that's the case, then my favorite movie was The Quiet Man with her. So there you go. Green Death, what day will you be starting early next week and what time? For the debate. What time does the debate start? Is it 8 p.m. Eastern?
I don't know. I haven't looked at any of that shit yet.
So the tentative plan would be, once we find out what the schedule is, or once I know what the schedule is, tentative plan would be to start about a half hour early to have a pregame show and get everybody oriented to watching whichever broadcast we have access to, so we can all sort of do it in tandem. And then start at the usual. Well, again, a half hour before the debate starts is when the show will start, granted that everything lines up. And I don't know when that is exactly off the top of my head, but we'll find out, or maybe it's already been said. So if you know, tell us, and we'll know. Moonshock, Scribelight, how do you find time to do TEDx streams when you're supposed to be working? Well, I don't do TEDx anything until I'm done with my work for the day, for the most part. I have to check. In the olden days, pre-pandemic, I wouldn't be able to do TED Excellences the way that I do them now. The way that I work now is I get up very early in the morning. I get all of the necessary stuff for my day done as quickly as I can, circumstances provided. And then I break for lunch, which just means I kind of log out of my work stuff. And then I periodically check in over the course of the next few hours or so for different things. The way things are set up right now, I don't need to be looking at everything all the time, but I need to be vigilant about certain things during the course of the day. So that's, in a nutshell, kind of how it works for me. And of course, if something crazy comes up or something melts down, like has happened here before, where I've started the show and suddenly I have to go, that's what happens. So it's a weird kind of arrangement now, but it does allow for a bit of leeway time in which I can do a TED. I mean, most times after I'm done with a TED Excellence for the day, I'm usually finishing the TED Excellence and then logging back into work to finish up a couple of things. So that's the long-winded explanation. Let's see. Jack Gunsky, Scribe Light. Is there any animal that you would eat alive, or that would eat alive? I'm assuming you mean that I would eat alive.
I would guess so.
Is there any animal that I would eat alive? Not that I can think of. So
Eat bacteria every day.
Well, I was about to say, if I wanted to be really a smartass, I could say I've had yogurt before. Let's see, Frosted Glass. Who wins? Wage Gap, Wage Old Navy, or Wage Lane Bryant's? Har. I don't know. Old Navy's got the military experience, but Lane Bryant's got the size, so I don't know.
I got no opinion there.
Dark Lyle, Scribe Light, do you think the speaker in the impromptu TED excellent threw out his back with all the stretching he did? I don't know. That guy, I tell you, and he had a T-shirt on that said "Live Your Protest." I can't even imagine what this guy does in his free time.
Yeah, pimp.
Well, he's getting paid by Seattle more for it, maybe. Let's see, Mr. Dax, can you say bargain? It makes a great deal. Or it means a great deal. Sorry. Har. My bad. Har. All you need is anybody challenging Roe v. Wade, or is it just pandering? I mean, there's always attempts incrementally to try to lessen its impact or its restrictions, or its freedoms, I guess I should say, is the other way of looking at it. But classically speaking, every time that something's gone that high up to actually try to challenge it, most of the time the court's kind of gone fairly moderate on it. At least that's my understanding.
There's nothing directly challenging Roe v. Wade. All of the ones that are coming before the court right now are the ones like we passed a law to make it so that it's only available in the first 6 weeks. That's the kind of shit that's been coming up. Yeah,
try to set a threshold for when it activates.
Yep.
Because they can't get rid of it completely, or so far nothing's come along that could conceivably get rid of it completely. So it's trying to modify its availability, let's say.
It is not inconceivable for the court to hear one of those cases and then decide that Roe v. Wade itself is unconstitutional. That could happen.
Sure.
But there's no case right now actually directly challenging it.
Right.
Not that it has any chance of going to the court.
Robert Gruber, Scribe, how many pepper jacks do you drink doing TEDx videos? Maximum of one, because I have to do the whole show in one sitting. So that's it.
Plus, he also said he logs back into work, man.
Yeah, I mean, well, nobody's here to sort of like, do a breath test on me or anything. But at that point, yeah, it gets me through the TEDx, but it's not debilitating, let's say.
That's those nights where Scribe has to leave a little bit, is because he had 3 of them during the show.
Frosted Glass, Scribe, you never answered who would be best at cursing someone out. Robert Duvall, Al Pacino, or Samuel Jackson? Oh, is that the question? Cursing him out? Samuel Jackson, probably. I mean,
he just got that flair, man.
Yeah, he's got that rhythm. He's got that flair. Al Pacino, I mean, it would be a dead heat between Al Pacino and Samuel Jackson, because Robert Duvall is actually a very gentle man. And even though he says some really nasty things in the roles he does, I don't really believe that Robert Duvall is, in real life, can be a nasty guy. I think Al Pacino and Samuel Jackson have it in them in real life to be that quick with it. But Samuel Jackson's got the style. So let's see. Cannibalistic Wizard, would you choose the ability to piss tequila, cry vodka, turn your snot into warm caramel, have your burps and farts smell like your favorite food, or fail to kill a deer with 4 spears?
I just bought,
dude.
What is life?
I just bought caramel squares today because I love them. So I'm going to have to go with that.
Jack Gunsky, yogurt for same. # Back Lives Matter. I think you mean for shame, but anyway. Check your logic. Does anyone else think Toy Story should have been called Instructions Not Included? No.
Nah.
That one didn't land. Sorry. The Redneck Ram. Would you continue the stream for a few more hours so I'll have some company while I'm flying around in Microsoft Flight Simulator?
Dude, we'll be over on 2 Cents Plus right after this.
Yeah. They'll be streaming for hours after I'm already in bed. So sure. Go check out 2 Cents.
Then there'll be a monkey in the morning, and then my individual game stream. There's hours and hours of stuff coming up, man.
Frosted Glass, doesn't that Toy Story analogy kind of fall apart considering the toys are happiest when they have owners? Well, that's the thing. You see, that means that they've been broken. You see, that's Stockholm Syndrome. That's the slaves actually falling in love with their slave owner. See, I made that very like, and again, I was trying to do the work for the speaker at the beginning before I even started the video. I was like, okay, let me try to imagine for a second what his argument is going to be, right? And I just rattled off like, okay, here are the possible analogous things he could say between what's going on in Toy Story and the role of the toys and a slavery narrative.
Sure.
And I'm just for hypothetical sake, of the 7 different points I threw out over the course of the video and beforehand, I think he hit on like 3, maybe. And I was like, I mean, it still wouldn't be a good analogy, but I could at least, come up with some things that you can make connections with, sort of. It wouldn't be that Toy Story actually projected some evil message of the happiness of slaves or something into people's minds as they watched it. But if you had to try to really bend over backwards, it wouldn't be that difficult. But anyway. Let's see. Stunlock, Joe, Satsu, speak on the glorious TikTok video I retweeted at you.
Oh, it's some black chick sitting in her car, and she's like narrating somebody cooking, and it is, I can't really explain it. Like, her narration is so fucking hilarious. Like, because she's just like going through and just making little, just like side comments on everything that's happened. She's basically explaining what's happening in the video, but it's hard to really explain why it's so funny. You just gotta see it. I think I retweeted it. So if you're following me on Twitter, you may have seen it. If not, then you should go check it. It is it's fucking hilarious, man. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty damn funny.
Let's see. Tackle Packa, what is the most you remember eating in one sitting? Oh, that would have to be like one of my company's Christmas dinner deals. We went to this Brazilian barbecue place, and I don't know if you've been to one of these things before.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So for those of you that haven't, generally speaking, I think it's relatively common. These guys will just come out periodically with these giant spears full of different kinds of meat, and they'll just walk around the table and they will just put pieces of meat on your plate unless you tell them not to, effectively. And it just comes like a waves. It just different meat. Like here's some lamb chop, here's some prime rib, here's some whatever, like buffalo, whatever. What do they got? And it's so good. Like, at least the place we went to was so good. Plus they had a buffet that you start off with before they bring the meat around. That's basically an open buffet. And it's like they got salad and noodles and just it's crazy. It was everything. And it was all on the company dime kind of thing. So there's no sense of moderation in you when you're doing this. And so I just ate way too much for me. I mean, I don't eat that much as it is, but I ate way too much for me. And I think I learned my lesson after the first Christmas party at that place. So that was like 2 years ago now. That's probably the last time that I remember most recently that I ate too much. What about you guys?
For me, I can't remember exactly, but I guarantee you it was spaghetti.
That'll fill you up real quick.
The way I eat it, it certainly does.
There's 2 times I remember specifically. The one time was when I went to this casino. We were just like, we didn't like gamble or anything, but we heard that the casino had a crazy ass buffet. So we're like, we're gonna go to the casino just to eat because we them type of Negroes. So we did that, and oh my God. It wasn't like at that moment in my life, I thought I had been to buffets before.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. I'd never been to a buffet in my life, apparently, because this fucking place, man, they had real food. Like real fucking food. And tons of it. And I was just shocked. I'm like, all of it is excellent quality. It's like every plate I brought back was like ordering food from an actual restaurant. And it was fucking bliss. And I ate myself into a mini coma. It was bad. I was not feeling right after that. And then when I was a kid, I used to really, really, really love pancakes. And we went to Denny's one time, and every fucking person at the table ordered pancakes. And every person who didn't eat them, I like polished them off or whatever. And that day I threw up, and it was so bad that for probably the next 3 years, I never ate another pancake. Those are the 2 times I can remember like severely overeating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no fun.
Guys, 1 second.
You want me to grab the next question?
No, sorry, I just had a quick diversion there. Jack Gunsky, Scribe Light, by the by, I changed my Twitter bio and will be looking into thumbnails for Quippers United after Lords of the Night based on your advice. Thank you. Another thing, Jack, post the results of your games in screenshots or something on your Twitter feed. Show people like what happens. That kind of thing, and celebrate the winners and even the losers. Do that kind of thing. That's my advice. BG says, Scribe, like, problem is you tend to put more thought into the talks than the TEDx speakers. No, I don't think. Well, not to be too contrarian, but I don't think that's the case. I think I have the advantage of the pause button. I think that's really it, and I think that goes for just about everything you can get these days on video, is that we have the advantage of the pause button. If in the olden days somebody gives a speech it's all sophistry or something in pablum, it can kind of wash over you, and before you can sort of really focus on what they said, the next thing is being said, and so on. I think the only real advantage to the TED Excellence format as it is being able to pause, think about what they said, and really dissect it a bit and see if it holds up as they continue. So I'm allowed more time to put more thought into it than the speaker is technically allowed within the talk to relay thoughts, I guess, if that makes any sense. Sinatra says, hey, how's it going? Next time you plan on going to the casino, let me know, Satsu.
Well, chances are, if you trying to go, the next time I'll be going is going to be with you, because I don't plan on going.
Well, heck, you know what? You guys could meet up for like a little Thanksgiving thing at the casino.
I wonder if they're going to actually be doing anything.
Oh, with the pandemic, who knows? But
yeah.
Let's see. Cracker Rob, when you were a child, what was your favorite food? Oh, my favorite food. Well, I mean, it's what my favorite food is still my favorite food back then. This dish my mom makes called chicken divan, which Satsu's made a couple of times. Recipe is, I haven't posted in a long time, but it's a sort of comfort food, quick stick to your ribs kind of deal with chicken and broccoli and cheese and white sauce, and then served over rice, and it's totally yummy and delicious.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, so that's my favorite kid food. What about you guys?
Favorite food? Since child, my favorite food, as long as I can remember, steak.
Satsu.
As a kid, my favorite food? I know I had one. I'm just
last week.
All right, Oldman. I'm having a hard time remembering for some reason, and I don't get the. Oh no, I know. My mom used to make a pot roast all the time, and it was like, you stick a fork in it and try to pick it up, and it literally just falls apart. with onions and carrots and stuff. Like, man, whenever she made that, I'm just like, look, I'm on my best behavior for the next week. Whatever you want, I got you, because that was my shit. She didn't make it often either, but man, when she made it, that was like my favorite thing.
Let's see. And chat jumped again, so guys, apologies, but do repeat your questions if I haven't already gotten to them. Motto Winter, oh Lord's advice column question time. What would you do if your son and daughter are trying to court the same woman?
Stab it, let the woman decide.
Yeah, just, I mean, now the question is, do you know something that your kids don't? Like, do you know that they're both courting the same woman, but neither of them know they are? That would be kind of awkward.
Are you married? Because you could go after her too. Apparently she's a hoe.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Mind my damn business. Well, hold on. If they're both courting her, then...
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's accepting the attention. So.
Look, I'm saying she's a hoe. How dare you argue? Over on Twitter, Grisella just put up about half an hour ago a picture.
Uh-oh. Yes.
Oh, inking and stars are done. Have to wait for them to dry before scanning them in. Covering and lettering to follow starting tomorrow.
What? Picture, dude.
That picture's awesome as fuck.
I didn't see it. Why didn't I see it?
I want that to be our fucking Lords of the Night like backdrop, dude.
Where is it?
He tagged all of us, didn't he?
Yeah, I just retweeted it.
Yeah, he just tagged it at all of us. I just retweeted it too.
What?
I would throw it in chat, but I'm on my gaming channel.
Dude, I just want to slap our Lords of the Night logo.
Wait, no, I'm not.
There, dude.
I don't see this thing. Where is it?
Here, I'm gonna throw it into chat right now.
Oh, okay, there it is. Sir, I see it now.
Right as I do it. You
we're all on the moon. We're all on the moon. Oh boy. Oh, I can't wait to see that ink.
Grisella, man. Hats off. That's awesome.
Oh, and he's got the walking stick with the light bulb on one end and the pen blade on the other. I thought it's great. Thank you, Connor Johnson. Are you familiar with the late Warren Zevon? He's known for songs that are lighthearted yet macabre, e.g., Excitable Boy and Werewolves of London. I'm familiar with Werewolves of London, and so technically, yes, and I know the name. I'm not an aficionado, but I am aware.
Not aware of any of that.
Werewolves of London. Werewolves of London. Frosted Glass, Scribe, when someone asks you if you want to eat, do you ever reply, no, I got a chicken divan? No, because really it's a very rare day that I actually have chicken divan. Usually my mom has to make it. I don't think I've ever actually made it for myself. I should do that. I really should.
You should.
Yeah, it's been a while. Fun. I know I made it at least once or twice for a girlfriend back in the day, but it's been a long time for me. Check your logic. Have you read or at least heard of The Hate You Give by Angela Thomas? I've heard that title before. Yes. Is that a book? I think it's a book. Pyrus Creed, you hear that the creator of the 1619 Project is trying to gaslight people about her claim that 1619 should be considered America's real founding date. Yeah, it's been this really bizarre thing. If you've been following it on different people have been posting the pictures, but as far as I can understand, and as far as I read way back when I looked at the 1619 Project, Ida Bay Wells, or whatever her real name is, has been pushing the idea in both print, on her website, in the text in the learning, the lesson plans and everything, that the 1619 year/date or whatever should be considered the actual founding of our nation. But now people are showing that she's trying to walk that back or deny that she ever said that.
Yes.
And then they like show her pictures of her own T-shirt she printed where July 4th, 1776 is crossed out and 1619 is in its place and everything. And I'm so detached from that because it's been going on in the background. I don't even know how that started, why it's going on, unless she's getting so much flack from like reasonable people now that she's trying to backtrack everything. I don't get it, but it's very bizarre to see someone like lie to your face saying, I never said that. And here's all the screenshots of you saying that over the last years. It's bizarre. Yeah, the fact that 1619 thing got pushed so much and so far by so many people for so long, are you serious? Have you read this stuff? Do you know what you're supporting here? I don't know. Delford Zero, Scribe Light, can you guys dance? And in the case of Monkey, is it funny because you have shorter legs? Monkey doesn't.
Well, that depends on who you ask. I can dance. Can I dance well? No.
I have happy feet. I can dance. I could probably dance better with. Okay.
I can't dance for shit.
Oh, that goes against stereotypes. Dr. No, Scribe Light. I'm not answering the question now. Call me that. In the movie Wild at Heart, who in their right damn mind would name their son Sailor, and who would name their daughter Lula? Okay, well, if I'm assuming that's a reference, it has been a couple of decades since I saw Wild at Heart, so you'll forgive me if I'm hazing on if there's a reference there I'm supposed to be responding to. So I've heard dumber names for kids. Think Elon Musk. Keeverdam, Scarlight, may I post a link to a Mad TV skit regarding someone's question earlier? Didn't Monkey post the skit link earlier?
I posted one to what somebody was that they asked about the sex toys in Toy Story House, and I posted the Mad TV sex toy story skit.
Okay.
I don't know what Keever's asking about, which one they're talking about.
You can post a YouTube link. That's fine. Thou hast a wrench. You may do so. Pyrus Creed, since he isn't real, will Satsu disappear if we defeat the anti-spirals? Well, he's a figment of our American society imagination. I'm a real boy. Understatement. So Monkey with his short legs is more of a gorilla? No, he has a tail.
I'm a monkey.
Look at the portrait that Grizilla made. That's how it is. Check your logic, Scribe Light. It's a book about a girl who witnesses her friend getting shot by the officer after he didn't comply with police orders. He was described as a drug dealer following his death. Right. I think. Yeah. I vaguely remember. I mean, I remember the title, and I remember reading the synopsis at one point. But yeah, that's about as much as I know. Kieran says no, it's a different one. Okay. Well, there's the link to it. And Harvos Marvos says good night. Well, we'll be signing off here in a couple minutes.
Night, Harvos.
Night, Harvos. Let's see. Mono Winter. Oh Lords, what are our thoughts on the new YouTube AI that will be age gating content?
That's the thing already.
It's already got that. I didn't know they were changing it.
Yeah, I have no say or control over what YouTube does, so my general attitude about YouTube changes is, unless or until it somehow like destroys my channel, I'm functionally indifferent. So,
yeah, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I've had content hit by an AI that put it behind 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Monkey came out and was like, "Yeah, they made the right call."
Yep, they did. They absolutely did. I think one of the nipple streams got 18 plus.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Well, I don't see any other questions coming up, so maybe I should start doing the exit for the show.
The outro, though.
The outro. Also, my shoulder's sore where they gave me my flu shot today.
Oh, damn.
It feels owie.
I would imagine those are not pleasant.
I mean, it's a brief little thing, just a little stick, and then afterwards it's like, ow.
Just a stick.
Just a little stick. But guys, by the time we finish all this, we'll be at the top of the hour, and thus the end of the show. So with that, remember guys, over on 2 Cents Plus, right after this, you can follow along as Monkey and Satsu play. What are you guys playing now? Raft. Yeah, gone are the days of 7 Days to Die or Grounded. Now they're on a raft again.
Indeed.
I remember also that tomorrow night, per usual, will be on Monkey's channel at the regular time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, for another Lords of the Night. And also be on the lookout on my Twitter. I plan barring circumstances otherwise, on doing a TED Excellence tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on my channel. It'll be decidedly different than the little short thing I did today. It'll be a full-on TED Excellence, or maybe even a TED Talk. You'll just have to find out. Maybe so will I, because I've got several I can choose from. Anything else to mention before we go, guys?
No.
I got none.
Alrighty. Well, there might also be something going on over on Jack Gunsky's channel, which he may actually have put a link to in his Twitter account now. His Twitter account being @QuippersUnited, all one word. Or maybe not. I don't know. Go check it out if you want to. But everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You guys really are the best audience in all of the world. Thank you so much for all of your participation and questions. Appreciate it. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though our audience is so well behaved, you guys have very little to do. And everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. As always, whenever I can make a sojourn out to the grocery store, it will all go towards horrible things I'll put in my body, like goldfish crackers, Dr. Pepper, and Jack Daniels, which I need to lubricate my brain for the wonderment that is TED Excellence. Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
Indeed.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Fuck off.
And per usual, getting out my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism.
Sadomasochism.
And today's secret word is fantasies.
Oh, shit. With a PH.
Fantasy.